A lot of people think isometric games are all just Diablo clones, but the genre is so much bigger than that. Today, I am covering everything. We have got cyberpunk shooters, cozy RPGs, and brutal survival games. No matter what you like to play, I guarantee there is something on this list for you. Starting off strong, we have Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun. If you love the Edo period of Japan, or just incredible storytelling, this is a masterpiece. You aren't just controlling faceless units here. You take control of 5 distinct characters, like Mugen the Samurai, or Yuki the young trap setter. What makes this game special is how these characters interact. As you sneak through snow-covered temples and busy villages, they talk to each other. They bond. You actually care about them by the end. The gameplay is a giant logic puzzle. You have to combine their skills perfectly, like using a distraction with one character to set up a kill for another. Now, I have to be real about one thing: the camera. It can be frustrating. There is no transparency for buildings, so you have to constantly rotate the view to see enemies hiding behind walls. It made me want to flip my desk a few times, but the story is so good, and the stealth is so satisfying that it is worth the frustration. It is a brutal, beautiful tale of honor and betrayal. Next up, we have the Riftbreaker. This is a weird one, but in the best way possible. It is basically what happens when you smash StarCraft and a twin-stick shooter together. You play as a scientist inside a massive mech suit, dropped onto an alien planet. Your job? Build a base, gather resources, and survive. And when I say survive, I mean survive thousands of angry aliens trying to eat you. The loop is incredibly addictive. 1 minute, you are carefully placing walls and power plants like a strategy game, and the next, you are dashing around firing rockets into a swarm of monsters like it is Doom. It gets chaotic. I will be honest, the story is forgettable. The main character is a bit boring. And if you play on console, the frame rate can struggle when things get really crazy. But the feeling of holding off an army with a base you designed yourself, it is unmatched. If you like base building but want more action, play this. Moving on to a game that actually made me care about the characters. Children of Morta. On the surface, it looks like just another pixel art dungeon crawler. But underneath, it is a game about family. You play as the Bergsons, a family of heroes guarding a shrine against an ancient evil. What makes this cool is that you aren't just grinding levels. You are watching them live their lives. Between dungeon runs, you see them eat dinner, train together, and even adopt a puppy. It makes you want to win, just to keep them safe. The combat is solid too. You have 6 different family members to play as. The game actually forces you to switch between them using a fatigue system, which sounds annoying, but it actually keeps the gameplay fresh. Be warned, it is a grind. You will die a lot. But unlike other roguelikes, the story keeps moving forward even when you fail. If you want a game with heart, this is the one. If you want a game that just oozes style, look at the Ascent. This is a cyberpunk action RPG that honestly looks better than most AAA titles. The developers nailed the aesthetic. You travel from the corporate high-rises down to the deep stink sewers. And every inch of the world feels grimy, wet, and lived in. But it's not just a pretty face. The combat is more twin-stick shooter than Diablo Clickfest. The guns have serious weight. When you pull the trigger, you feel it. Enemies don't just drop, they get knocked back, or lose limbs. It is sadistically fun. The story? It is not great. You probably won't care about the characters. And the first few hours are a bit slow. You are mostly shooting space rats. But once you get past that, and you start upgrading your cybernetics, it becomes an absolute blast. It is messy, beautiful, and violent. Next up, we have Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden. If you love XCOM but hate how slow it can be, this is the answer. It mixes real-time exploration with turn-based combat. You don't just drop into a grid, you control a squad of mutants, including a talking duck and a boar, and you explore the world freely. You can sneak up on enemies, set up the perfect ambush, and pick off stragglers before the real fight even starts. It is tough, though. The game expects you to save scum. You will mess up, reload, and try a different angle. And honestly, the RPG elements are a bit shallow. Once you unlock the main skills, leveling up doesn't feel that important. But for the stealth mechanics alone, it is a refreshing twist on the genre that you need to try. Next up is Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus. Usually, Warhammer games are a mixed bag, but this is a hidden gem. You play as the tech priests, cyborg religious zealots who worship technology. You are raiding tombs to fight the Necrons, basically Egyptian space terminators. The writing is top tier. The characters argue in equations and religious dogma, and it is surprisingly funny. The gameplay is unique because there is no cover system. It forces you to be aggressive. You collect cognition points by scanning enemies or shrines, and spend them to move further or fire big guns. It does get a bit easy in the late game. Once you figure out the best builds, you will one-shot everything. But the journey to get there is immensely satisfying. Moving forward, we have Weird West. And honestly, the title fits perfectly. This is a dark fantasy version of the Wild West where you aren't just fighting bandits. You are fighting pigmen, werewolves, and sirens. The coolest part is the structure. You play through 5 different storylines, swapping characters each time. You start as a bounty hunter, then a pigman, then a werewolf. And the choices you make with one character actually affect the world for the next one. The combat is a mix of twin-stick shooting and stealth. You can kick oil lamps to start fires, or use slow motion to dive through windows like an action movie. The loot system is a bit boring, mostly just stat upgrades, and it can be buggy. I saw a few enemies moonwalking through walls, but the freedom to solve problems however you want makes up for it. It is a messy, ambitious, and totally unique RPG. Most isometric RPGs feel flat. Solasta feels vertical. This game takes the D&D rule set and adds a massive tactical layer. You can fly, climb walls, or shove enemies off ledges to their death. Lighting is huge here. If you are fighting in the dark, you will miss. You need to cast light spells or light torches to actually hit anything. The party system is great too. You create all 4 characters, and their personalities affect the dialogue. A cynical rogue will give very different answers than a kind cleric. It has its jank. The cutscenes can be awkward, and the beards sometimes look like they are falling off the dwarves' faces. But for a small studio, they nailed the feeling of a tabletop session perfectly. If you are looking for a solid RPG that you probably missed, check out Shadow's Awakening. It is set in the Heretic Kingdoms universe. On the surface, it looks like a standard Diablo clone, but the soul-switching mechanic changes everything. You swap between your demon form and your hero puppets instantly. You might need a warrior to smash a wall in the mortal realm, then swap to the demon to cross a bridge in the shadow realm. Since you are a demon, you don't have to follow the rules. You can choose to save the world, or you can plunge it into absolute disaster. The game gives you that freedom. The writing is the highlight here. The internal dialogue between your demon and the puppets he controls is great. It feels like a dysfunctional family road trip, except everyone is sharing one body. If you want an isometric RPG that lets you embrace your dark side, this is it. Next up, we have Victor Vran. Think of this as Bastion, strutting around in a campy Van Helsing cosplay. It gets compared to Diablo a lot, but the combat is way more involved. You aren't just clicking, you are jumping, dodging, and wall kicking. The gimmick here is that there are no classes. You are defined entirely by your weapon. You might find a zealous executioner's hammer, and suddenly you are an AoE machine exploding skeletons left and right. The story is nothing special. You are basically a pest controller in a fedora. But the humor, including a posh narrator who mocks you, keeps it entertaining. If you want a polished indie ARPG to play with friends, this is a damn fine time. Moving forward, we have Gamedec. The concept here is brilliant. You play as a game detective in a cyberpunk Warsaw. Your job? To solve crimes inside virtual worlds. One mission, you are investigating a clan cult in an MMO. The next, you are exposing slave labor in a free-to-play farming game. It is incredibly meta. There is no combat here. You solve problems by hacking, interrogating, and using your knowledge of gaming culture to spot exploits. It is basically Disco Elysium for gamers. It does have issues. The translation can be rough, and the second half feels rushed. But for the first 10 hours, being a digital detective feels absolutely fresh. Iron Danger is a difficult title to define, but that is exactly why it is on this list. It combines the look of a classic isometric adventure with a time-bending mechanic that I haven't seen done this well anywhere else. The art direction is the first thing that grabs you. It is this weird, beautiful mix of familiar fantasy tropes and menacing steampunk machinery. You will fight bandits and monsters, but you will do it using a suite of magical abilities that feel punchy and impactful. The catch is that you are immortal. Sort of. You can rewind death. This lowers the stakes a little bit because you can always undo a mistake. But it also encourages you to take risks you normally wouldn't. I will be honest though, the game is a bit rough around the edges. The camera likes to default to terrible angles, making it hard to see the beautiful landscapes. And the waves of faceless enemies can turn into a slog later in the game. But if you can look past the technical issues, the power trip of being a time-bending mastermind is absolutely worth the price of admission. Next up, we have Encased. If you love the retro-futuristic vibe of Fallout, but want something a bit weirder, this is it. The game is set in an alternate 1970s inside a giant mysterious dome. You play as an employee of Cronus, a corporation sent to explore it. The twist is that once you enter the dome, you can never leave. It is a one-way trip. The world building is fantastic. Instead of a nuclear wasteland, you have a mix of modern facilities and anomalies that feel like they were ripped straight out of the book Roadside Picnic. You join one of 5 wings, or classes, which determine your role in this society. The blue wing for engineers, the silver wing for managers, and so on. It adds a layer of social commentary that makes the role-playing feel deep and meaningful. Next up, we have Killsquad. This is a twin-stick shooter designed for co-op play. You pick one of 5 mercenaries, like a melee assassin or a heavy gunner, and take on short, 10 to 15-minute missions. The combat feels fast and punchy, especially when you unlock your ultimate abilities. But here is the catch. The game has almost no story. It is purely about the grind. You run a mission, get loot, upgrade your vector level, and repeat. The cool twist is that your character levels up from scratch in every mission, MOBA style. You unlock skills as you fight, which keeps things interesting in the short term. If you play solo, it can feel empty and repetitive. But if you have a squad of 4 friends, the chaos of the particle effects and the boss fights make it a really solid arcade experience. Finally, we have 7 the Days Long Gone. This game breaks my heart. On paper, it is the perfect RPG. It was made by former CD Projekt Red developers, the people behind The Witcher. It combines the isometric view of Diablo with the stealth mechanics of Thief, all set in a ruined cyberpunk prison island. It sounds incredible, right? And when it works, the world of Pe is fascinating. It is vertical, dense, and full of verticality that you rarely see in this genre. You can climb buildings, drop down on enemies, and sneak through vents. The soundtrack features this moody slide guitar that perfectly captures the atmosphere of a hopeless dystopia. The problem is the feedback. In most stealth games, you know when you are invisible. Here, you have to rely on your gut. There is no light gem or visibility meter. This leads to a lot of trial and error, and a lot of quick loading. The combat is also pretty terrible. So, if you get caught, it feels less like a punishment and more like a failure of the game mechanics. But if you are a stealth purist who loves a challenge, and you can tolerate some bugs, this is a heist worth planning. And that's all for this one. Big thanks to IGN and Gameranx for the source material. I really appreciate you guys watching through to the end. Be sure to drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel. Check out these other videos on the screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.